If you show up to vote in person, I voted absentee in June, I voted in person in July. What you'll notice is that at the precinct locations, the poll worker will be sitting at a desk and they'll have plexiglass in the front. That's really just to maintain some safe social distancing and any kind of germs passing across there. They'll be wearing masks, they'll be wearing gloves, and they would encourage you to wear a mask also. And I know some people say, well, I don't like wearing a mask. I understand that you're healthy, you don't have to worry about for yourself, but you don't know the person on the other side of the table may have an underlying health condition. So it's really about thinking about the other person as opposed to yourself and making sure it's just an orderly process. But that is your right and that is your choice. But then we'll also be disinfecting all the equipment between everyone using it. Also, the machines will be spaced out further to give you that social distancing. And then the lines will be spaced out. All that adds time to the system just because it's a slower process. You don't have as many machines in a certain square footage of area. And so if you don't have as many machines, you can't move as many voters through per hour. So it takes additional time. But we want to make sure that if people want to show up and vote in person, then I would ask one thing: would you consider, and just a big request perhaps, but would you vote the first week of early voting? We have 3 weeks of it, but the first week is when no one historically ever shows up. It's people are sitting around, they're twiddling their thumbs. Where are all the people? Well, this year, let's make a big change and show up that first week. And that way you won't have the lines, but it also is going to help. There's only so many folks that can vote. We only have so many registered voters. And if we can move them more through the first and second week of early voting, that's less we have to worry about third week or on the election day of Tuesday, November 3rd. I think people have to understand that we will still be voting as if we were in a pandemic. I know the numbers have come down, but if you show up to vote in person, you're going to notice all of a sudden that there'll still be those X's, the red X or yellow X, whether you use to space, voters out. You're going to say, that's a really long line. Well, it is a long line, but that's because people are spaced 6 feet on center. But if you actually condensed it, you say, well, it's really not that long line, but still, you're not going to get the same number of voters through per hour. So you just have to accept that new reality. But that's why you can make it easier on yourself if you vote absentee and you vote absentee early. If you leave it to the last minute, then you're really not putting yourself in a position to win. If you're going to vote in person, then vote early. And if you're going to vote early, why not the first week? Why not Monday or Tuesday when no one else will be there? And then when people are saying, boy, I had to wait 20 minutes, or I had to wait 30 minutes, you're saying, well, I voted last Tuesday and there's only 4 people there. There's only 12 people there. It went through. I was done in 20 minutes. You might have been done in 10. The other thing we are going to have is a portal. It's an online line management tool that'll be on app on phones. We tried out 6 counties. It worked great. So we're sending that out to all the county election directors. But that'll also be publicly available. So you'll actually be able to see where your precinct, where the line is. You'll be able to use that on early voting. Also, you'll be able to use that on the day of election. Sometimes you have a big rush at 7 a.m. and it starts dying down, and then it picks up mid-morning, then it dies down, then it picks up again at the end of the day. But you'll be able to see that. It might be very useful for voters. We know it'll be very useful for your county election directors.